A rocket hit a Palestinian hospital, killing hundreds of children. Another very intense, very heartbreaking story. When children die, it rips our hearts out. It rips me to the core. And what's worse here is the American media is taking the side of Hamas without even fact-checking these reports. We're going to talk about that in just a second because we have proof that shows that the mainstream media are total liars. So the original report was that the Israeli Defense Forces, the IDF, had bombed or had dropped a bomb over the Palestinians and hit a hospital, killing perhaps hundreds of children. And if this were true, it would be awful. It would still be the moral responsibility of Hamas for not allowing Gazans to leave Gaza, even after the IDF warned them that, hey, we're going to be bombing these places, even these seemingly civilian apparatuses, because Hamas builds rockets and stores their military equipment and plots terror attacks from within civilian structures, so that when the IDF takes out the military installments that are underneath the civilian structures, the Hamas terrorists can just point and say, oh, they're destroying civilians. They're destroying civilian operations in schools and hospitals and churches and all kinds of stuff. Well, the mainstream media, without even bothering to fact check this, started parroting Hamas. They're serving as the propaganda arm of terrorists, saying that this was an IDF attack that killed hundreds of children. But that's not true. So I'm going to show you a video of exactly what happened. This was Al Jazeera seemingly accidentally broadcasted live what happened. And what happened is a rocket. We can show this video, Rebecca, as I'm talking, because I'll explain what's happening while people are watching it on the screen. So the commentator, of course, is speaking in a different language, but what you're seeing is the dark sky. You're seeing a rocket that is launched from the Palestinian territories, and then you see the fact that it misfired, that it sort of, there you see it, it sort of explodes and snuffs out and falls. And at that exact moment, that's enough. At that exact moment, you'll see in the background an explosion on the ground. That explosion was the hospital, the Palestinian hospital. Now, the IDF, of course, in addition to your own eyes, and you are able to believe what you see with your own eyes, the IDF confirms that, yes, that is exactly what happened, that there was a rocket that was launched from the Palestinian territory, whether it was Hamas or the Palestinian Islamic Jihad. I mean, potato, potato, they're both jihadist groups. The IDF confirms, and we can bring this up. This is a statement from the Israeli Defense Forces. We'll bring this up on the screen. They said an analysis of IDF operational systems indicates that a barrage of rockets was fired by terrorists in Gaza, passing in close proximity to the Al-Ali hospital in Gaza at the time it was hit. Intelligence from multiple sources we have in our hands indicates that Islamic Jihad is responsible for the failed rocket launch, which hit the hospital in Gaza. There's been additional analysis by outside sources, because some people are like, oh, well, are you going to take the word of Israel? You know, they want to defend themselves. There was an additional geolocating that was done. I don't know that I sent this to you, Rebecca. I'm going to text this to you if you want to bring this up on the screen as well. This is pretty interesting because there were geolocators. Greg Price tweeted this, and he said, here's a thread of geolocators that prove the rocket that blew up at the hospital in Gaza today was fired from the Palestinian side at Israel, but ended up killing its own people. The same people who demand to see pictures of beheaded babies from every angle took the word of Hamas first. So the geo-targeting I don't know exactly how the science of this works, but the geolocators can actually identify where this rocket came from and then follow it. You can see the lines, the trajectories on the screen here, and this proves that Israel did not launch this rocket at the Palestinian hospital, that the terrorists launched it at their own hospital. Now, maybe they did it unintentionally, but the fact of the matter is it was friendly fire that killed these Palestinians. But that didn't stop the mainstream media from blaming Israel. It didn't stop members of Congress like Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib from condemning Israel for war crimes based on Hamas blaming Israel. This was what Ilhan Omar tweeted in the immediate aftermath of this report. Bombing a hospital, she said, is among the gravest of war crimes. The IDF reportedly blowing up one of the few places the injured and wounded can seek medical treatment and shelter during a war is horrific. The president of the United States needs to push for an immediate ceasefire to end this slaughter. Wouldn't it be interesting to hear Ilhan Omar's take on this now that it's been established that this attack was actually from the Palestinian Islamic Jihad? How does this change what the president of the United States should do, Congresswoman Omar?